Hey, welcome back to YT Finance, and today we are talking about Bitcoin. Specifically, we will discuss if Bitcoin should be in your stock portfolio. We will also give a price target / Bitcoin price prediction for this cryptocurrency, and we will also talk about why Bitcoin is being banned in India. Along with that, we will speculate about the next company who could potentially buy Bitcoin and why they would want to add Bitcoin to their balance sheet in the first place. And spoiler alert, it's for the exact same reason why I personally hold Bitcoin. If you want to invest in Bitcoin, then I have two links down below in the description box that you may want to check out so you can get some extra Bitcoin. But in the meantime, let's make you some free money with Webull. Webull is a free brokerage app where you can buy and sell stocks, options, and cryptocurrencies. But right now, you can get 2 free stocks with Webull. You can get the first free stock, which can be worth anywhere from $2 to $250 for just creating an account. And you can get a second free stock, which can be worth up to $1,600 if you invest $100 or more on your first deposit. You will have a 1 in 100 chance of getting stocks like Facebook, Starbucks, or Snapchat, and you have a 1 in 50 chance of getting stocks like Google or Procter & Gamble. To get this offer, just press on the link in my description box down below, but do it quickly because this offer will not last forever. And without further ado, let's get into today's stories. Recently, India, which is one of the world's largest economies, is considering to ban cryptocurrencies and therefore Bitcoin. This recent news has caused the price of Bitcoin to pull back from all-time highs of around $61,500. Now, many other countries have already banned cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, most likely due to their decentralized nature, but the fact that India is going to potentially make Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies outright illegal to hold, trade, and exchange crypto has made some investors very uneasy. A senior technical analyst from StockCharts.com had to say this about India's legislation, and I quote, "It looks like the plans by the Indian government to criminalize cryptocurrencies is forcing at least some investors to pull out of this market, at least for now. However, these threats to make Bitcoin illegal has not stopped cryptocurrencies from gaining popularity in India, where over 8 million investors hold approximately $1.4 billion worth of digital assets." Now, this is no need to be alarmed because the United States would most likely not ban Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies outright because they can simply create laws to tax it more effectively, or the suits can simply make their own digital assets along with central banks, so there is no need or worry about Bitcoin being banned in the USA. Also, Bitcoin was originally rallying because stimulus was on its way, and the CEO of Webull had this to say about that, and I quote, "I believe the expectations of new stimulus checks is one of the biggest factors in the surge of Bitcoin over the weekend, along with historically thinner volumes over the weekend. But this stimulus has an even greater impact in stocks and cryptocurrencies alike because even though people now have more money to invest into the stock market and crypto market, which could increase the prices of our investments, it also puts us at risk for inflation, which ultimately devalues our money. And to me, the best thing about Bitcoin is that it can be used as a hedge, or I like to say insurance protection, against inflation, which is bound to happen from the stimulus. Also, even if we pretend that all the digital assets in India was just Bitcoin and it was banned, so around $1.4 billion of Bitcoin will be cashed out, we wouldn't even feel it that much because Bitcoin is a $1 trillion asset, so the stock would go down less than 2%. So more Bitcoin for us. If anything, this would actually be good news because in a Bloomberg interview with the CEO of Diginex, he says he sees Bitcoin tripling in value this year, and I quote, "We are modeling out about 175,000 for the price of Bitcoin by the end of this year." It sounds like he thinks this is just the beginning of the Bitcoin bull run, and he goes on to say this, "Things are going to get a lot more heated from here." And he might be right considering that CoinDesk 20 data says that the price of Bitcoin has been rallying around 500% since early October. Bitcoin is a great asset as either a store of value or insurance against a devaluing dollar. That will eventually catch up to us from all of the money that has been printed just in 2020. Inflation is not a prediction, it is a fact that will happen, and Bitcoin is a great way to protect yourself from it. Now, this is not a secret. Even companies and organizations are using Bitcoin for this exact purpose. This is why companies like Tesla, Square, and MicroStrategy all own Bitcoin, and it's also why you should look into potentially getting more or at least buying some right now. The companies like Tesla, for example, who bought $1.5 billion of Bitcoin, are putting it in their treasuries, so the cash on their balance sheet is being used to buy assets like Bitcoin that will not lose value because of inflation, compared to regular cash that will lose its buying power when the price of goods and services go up due to inflation. So companies with loads of cash that is just sitting around are losing value. One such company is Oracle, ticker symbol ORCL, which I personally have in my personal portfolio, which has around $43 billion in liquid assets, with cash making up around $37 billion. Because Oracle is a computer software company, they are extremely competitive, they love new innovative technologies like blockchain, they have loads of cash, and one of their members sits on Tesla's board. I think it is extremely likely that Oracle could be a company that will buy Bitcoin as a hedge against a devaluing dollar. According to Oracle's most recent report, they currently do not own any Bitcoin, but because many companies are using Bitcoin in this way, it would not surprise me that many other companies will join in, starting with the computer companies and technology companies. When Tesla bought their Bitcoin, the price of Bitcoin surged around 20%, and another surge like that could put Bitcoin at around $68,000 per Bitcoin. However, the fact that I personally think Oracle will soon convert to Bitcoin is an educated guess, but you better believe if Bitcoin continues on its current trajectory, that many other Fortune 500 companies will start to pile in. This would allow for more mainstream attention, greater adoption, and it lowers the risk and likelihood of Bitcoin being overly regulated. But to qualify that statement, we do want Bitcoin regulation because that will actually help with further adoption. Even longtime skeptics of Bitcoin, such as many financial institutions which hate Bitcoin because it threatens their way of life, are slowly changing their minds because they are now realizing that cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin can make them money. For example, the co-founder of Oak Tree Capital says that he takes back his dismissive stance on Bitcoin. Even if someone says Bitcoin has no intrinsic value, which I totally agree with, he actually responds saying this, and I quote, "There are plenty of things that people want and value highly that have no intrinsic value. How about a painting or a diamond or a bar of gold?" And he is right, things have value if people deem them valuable, regardless of its intrinsic value. He goes on to say that luckily his son owns Bitcoin, but should you own some? I would keep around 1 to 10% of my net worth in Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies. They are very volatile and you could lose most or all of its value, but the opportunity cost of missing a Bitcoin if it goes to the moon is more expensive than me losing a fraction of my net worth. It is also a way to diversify into another asset class. I can make passive income from Bitcoin, and it's a hedge against inflation, but Ethereum is better, don't at me. Remember to like this video right now, subscribe if you are new, and I will see all of you in the next YT video.